Hey guys, how's it going? Laura with Garden Answer. In today's video, I want to show you the process of how to bring some of your plants from the garden into the house for the cold winter months. You can call that overwintering plants or wintering over plants. They both mean the same thing. So let's just jump right into it. Step number one is to walk around your garden and analyze what you want to bring in. Some of the things that I'm bringing inside this winter are some of my succulent arrangements, some tender herbs and perennials like rosemary and bay laurel. I've even got some polka dot plants in a window basket that I was growing alongside some other perennials and blooming annuals that I'm going to dig out and bring in. Once you figure out what you want to bring in, you're going to have to decide whether or not you like those plants in their current container or if they need to be bumped up a pot size or in a brand new pot altogether to match the inside of your home. Or maybe you've just dug something out of your vegetable garden or another pot or window box like I did and they need to be repotted. So deciding this will help you with step number two, which is to gather all your supplies and plants in one place. It's so much easier to have everything together because that means you only move your supplies one time and you make a mess in one location, so that means one cleanup instead of multiple messes all around your house. So some of the tools that I find really helpful during this process are a trowel and a shovel, my snips and pruners, a good pair of gloves, and then pots. And you can use new ones or old ones. Just make sure if you use old pots that you sanitize them with a 1 part bleach to 10 parts water solution, and that will help with any insects or diseases that may be hanging out from previous use. And you'll also need potting soil, and you want to make sure that you're using the proper potting soil for the proper plant. So for most foliage indoor plants, I'm using just a regular potting mix, but if you're doing cactus, succulents, African violets, or orchids, all of those need a different blend of soil. Now that we have everything gathered, it's time for step number three, which is to groom and trim up your plants. So you want to take off any leggy branches, anything that's not aesthetically pleasing. You just want to make your plants look nice. You also want to groom off any dead leaves, any spent blooms, because that's what insects and diseases want to harbor over it. After you finish grooming your plants, step number four is to give them a quick check for insects. So you want to look at the top of the soil, make sure there's nothing crawling around on there, and then look at the top of the leaves, and especially on the underside of the leaves. That's where insects usually like to hang out the best. If you find anything, you want to make sure to get that taken care of before you introduce them into your home, just in case you have other houseplants that could possibly be infected. Step number five is to refresh the soil around any of the plants you want to keep in their current containers. So to do this, I just gently scrape up the top 1 or 2 inches of soil, whatever is loose and will come up easily, and then I replace it with fresh soil. This will help in both removing any insect eggs that might be harboring over in those top layers of soil, and it will add in a little bit of extra nutrients around the roots of your plant. Step number six is to repot anything that's overgrown its container, or if you want to swap out containers, or anything that you've dug up from your garden, which I've done today. You just want to make sure that you're using the proper soil for whatever variety of plant you have. So if you are planting up cactus and succulents, use that type of soil. For the rosemary and polka dot plant that I dug out today, I'm just going to be using regular potting mix. Step number seven is completely optional, but I like to water all of my plants really well before I move them inside for a couple of reasons. One, because I can use the hose to wash off the whole container, any of the soil that I might have missed or any of the mess. And also I like to let them drain outside. It's really hard to get a really thorough watering when they're inside because you just can't use quite as much water. And the last step, step number eight, is to take your plants inside. You want to make sure to put them in the proper amount of light. Some plants need more than others, but I find when I'm overwintering plants that the brightest spot possible is where my plants do the best. And I also make sure to put a saucer underneath all my plants to make sure to collect any extra moisture or soil that might make it through the bottom of the drain hole. So those are my steps for bringing in houseplants every year. It's always really exciting to bring stuff inside because all of a sudden it feels cozy and it prolongs my gardening. It's just something fun to do when I can't do much outside. If you guys have any tips that you want to share with how you overwinter houseplants, we're all ears. Leave them in the comment section down below. We'd love to see them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.